I want to show you how you can easily build an MCP server in few lines of Python code. You can build an MCP server in several ways. However, we are going to use Gradio to make things simple. Gradio is popular for its ability to allow developers build AI interfaces for their app. The latest release of Gradio also supports building MCP servers with just few lines of code. So using Gradio, you will be able to turn any pure Python function into an MCP server so that you can use it in MCP client applications like Cursor or Windsurf. So let me show you how to get started. After I show you how the server is created, I will also show you how to run it in Cursor. For this example, to create an MCP server with Gradio, the first step is to install Gradio and also install MCP as extra. If you have Gradio already installed, you should upgrade it with this command, pip install upgrade Gradio. Next, you install MCP separately, so you can install it this way or choose the second option. After installing Gradio and MCP, all you need to do to create a MCP server is to create a Gradio app. Then in the launch method, you pass the parameter MCP server and set it to true. An alternative way to turn your Gradio app into an MCP server is to export Gradio MCP server and set it to true. So on the Mac, you can for example add this command to your .zshrc file, or you can run this in the command line. So after your installation, you import Gradio. Then you define your function you want to turn into an MCP server. In this example, we create a function to determine how many times a letter appears in a given word and return the word or number of words in lowercase. Next, we define a Gradio interface by specifying these parameters. So we have the function we defined here. Then we create an input field for accepting user prompt. We add the output, title and description. And finally, launch the Gradio app. In the launch method, we pass the parameter MCP server and set it to true. So this is all you need to do to turn a function in your Gradio app into an MCP server. To run the app, I will press Ctrl and backtick to bring the terminal. You have noticed here I have already run the file with Python 3 followed by the file name. So we have the file name as Gradio MCP server.py. So here we have a link to view the Gradio web app in the browser. I'll press Command and click it to open it in the browser. Let's for example input the word strawberry. Then we want to count how many times R appears in the word strawberry and submit it. You have noticed the output is 3 and that is correct. The web app you see here is your actual Gradio app, and since over here in demo.launch we set MCP server to true, the web app is also your MCP server. To get the MCP server information, you go to the bottom part of the page and click Use via API. You have noticed here they have different ways you can interact with the API: Python, JavaScript, curl, and MCP. So let's select MCP. So here we have the MCP server URL. To add the MCP server to MCP client applications like Cursor, Windsurf, or Client, you should use this code snippet. So I already copied this and added that in Cursor. So to add this code snippet in Cursor, you should go to Cursor settings. So over here, I'll go to the top right and click Open Cursor settings. Then I'll select MCP. If I scroll down, you have noticed here I have the Gradio MCP server. Let's click Edit. So I have already added it as one of my MCP servers in mcp.json. So I added Gradio and specified the server URL. That is this one. After adding this configuration in Cursor, you can use the MCP tool with any of the large language models in Cursor. To use the letter counter MCP tool, I'll press Command and L to bring the chat window. Then I'll add the prompt, find the number of R's in strawberry. You have noticed here it is calling the MCP tool. So I'll run the tool. So we have the correct answer as 3. So this is all we have in this video. There are several ways you can build an MCP server in Python. However, I find this approach to be the most easiest and simplest. That is using Gradio with just few lines of Python code.